Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to your last. My name is Kirioth and this is not a really terrible one-man edition of Hotfix. This is in fact an update as to what is happening with Hotfix right now. So you'll have noticed that Hotfix has been absent from the channel for a little bit, and that's because I've been working really hard behind the scenes to basically develop the show, make it better than it currently is. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere, it's not being deleted, we're not getting rid of it, we're not doing something completely different, we're just reworking it. And what I wanted to do with this video is basically just tell you why we're reworking it and how we're reworking it. So let's start out with the why. Hotfix is currently doing really well. It really is. Those of you who support us on Patreon for Hotfix, you literally make it happen. If you didn't do that, there would be no Hotfix. So if you're suddenly sitting there thinking, is it not enough? What you're doing is fantastic and I love you for it. But I want Hotfix to be even better than it currently is. Okay? That's all it is. It's not through any wrongdoing or any kind of dissatisfaction. I just want it to be bigger and better. At the moment, Unit Lost is doing really well. The channel's growing really well. Views are up. You know, subscribers are up. Likes are up. Comments are up. Everything's up. But Hotfix is staying about the same as it has for the last, I don't know, maybe about 6 months to a year. We've got a really good, hardcore, dedicated audience. And I really like that. But at the same time, whilst I'm happy with it, I'm not content with it. Always be happy, never be content. I'm happy with how Hotfix is, but I'm not content. I want it to be bigger and better. So what we're going to do is we want to make it so that we have a guest on Hotfix every single week. Now I know we've said that before and it's kind of become a running joke, the fact that no one turns up. But there are a few barriers of entry for guests on Hotfix, and that's because of what Hotfix at its core is. Hotfix is, as we say at the start of every single episode, a laser-focused video game discussion podcast, except we talk about like video game news, industry news. When you actually look at the number of YouTubers who do something similar, they're fairly few and far between. Like most YouTubers just play games, which is fine. That's not a problem. But it means that when you say, come on my show, they then look at the show and then they go, oh god, I don't know what half this stuff is and I've only got half an hour to prepare. Because of course, when it comes to collecting topics for Hotfix, it goes on all week. And then it's a case of, I found this, I found this, I found this, I found this. Oh, and here's the other things I found. You better go away and read up. It's like, it's a huge amount of pressure to place on someone for them to come out of their comfort zone, sit down, and for an hour and a half, just talk about news in the industry. That's a big ask. And it's hardly surprising that people might be a bit uncomfortable with that. Not only that, but it's a significant barrier of entry for new viewers as well. Like, when you think about who watches Hotfix, I know who watches Hotfix. It's people like me, people like Sty, people who like keeping up with everything that's going on, people who like talking about news from the industry, about the issues that the industry is having. But we're not everyone. What we want to do is get everyone else in with us, but still keep talking about the same things. So at the moment with Hotfix we've got like 2 or 3 big topics every week, and then we've got lots of smaller stuff. And it kind of shows. When I go back and I look at older Hotfixes, I say older ones, just like ones from a couple of weeks ago back, we have these great discussions. They are really good discussions. We cover a load of ground in them. We take pretty much every possible point of view. Quite often me and Sty disagree, which is fantastic. But then come the sort of 50-minute, 1 hour mark, we run out of steam because we run out of big topics. So you're kind of left with, say, 50 minutes of proper discussion. And then I've realised I've got into the habit of doing this. It's like, and then we'll cover the smaller stories of the week. But the smaller stories of the week is like 10 things. And it's literally, this game's coming out. Great. That game's been delayed. Great. That game doesn't work properly. Okay. We can do without that. We don't need that in Hotfix. That's like unnecessary bloat, because you're not getting any information from that. You're not really getting any kind of well-explained viewpoints. You're not really getting anything new from it. You're just basically hearing the news, but a week after it's happened. You don't need that. So, what I want to do is merge Hotfix and Pubcast together again. Now, a while ago, you'll remember we did a section on Hotfix where we asked each other what games we were playing, and we talked about those games. I really enjoyed those discussions, so did Sty, that's why we made Pubcast. But, there's no reason for the two to be separate, because when I go back and look at Pubcast, quite often, we end up repeating ourselves, or we've played the same game every week. You know, we've had a few episodes of Pubcast where we've just been playing the same games together for like 3 weeks in a row. And whilst those are okay episodes, they're not the best episodes that we've done. I want every episode to be the best episode that we've done. So what I want to do is I want a guest every week on Hotfix. I want Hotfix and Pubcast, to merge together again into one super 2 hour to 2.5 hour long podcast, where we will talk about the big news in the industry. That's not going away. I still want to talk about that because some of our best discussions and some of our best content has come from that. So 2 to 3 big topics from the news, stuff going on in the industry. I mean, if you want to say drama, but you know what I mean. Things that are having an impact on the gaming community at the time. I want to talk to the guests about what they're playing. What games have they played? Did they like that game? Did they not like it? Do they have a problem with it? I want to get it so that conversation is more fluid, more free. Because at the moment, when you look at what Hotfix is, it's really great at focusing on one thing. And that's fine, but it means that we can't really derail very well. We can, but it feels unnatural because we've got such a tight focus on just one style of it. It means that we can't really let the conversation meander and kind of flow. Some of the best conversations I've had from people about Hotfix and about Pubcast have been from ones where we've gone off on a tangent. We've ended up talking about something completely different to what we started on. And the way that we've got it at the moment, it's almost like we're kind of artificially restraining that. We're making it so that we can't have those great discussions that kind of come out of nowhere. That's not the way forward. Because that's like putting a limit on how good we can make it, you know? If we could have a fantastic discussion, which isn't actually related that much to what we were first talking about, but then we don't have it because we've got another topic to get onto, so we can't discuss that. We'll just stop there, we'll move on to the next thing. That's a loss, that we're losing out on good content, and I don't want that to happen anymore. So, Hotfix is not going anywhere. Instead, it's getting longer, it's getting bigger, it's getting better. We're aiming for a guest every single week. We want to talk about the big news in the industry. We want to talk about games again. Okay? We want to talk about what we've been playing, what the guest has been playing, what we've been recording. We want to talk about what's happening with the channels as well. And we want to say this is what the guest is doing, this is what Unit Lost is doing, so on and so forth. We want to actually have proper discussions, not shackled by the fact that we have to move on to the next news story as quickly as possible. Because at the moment, Hotfix is in a great place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Hotfix. I'm not saying it's bad. It's enjoyable to make. It's enjoyable to produce. It's enjoyable to edit. And it's enjoyable to read the comments about it. But it could be better. And by doing this, I think we will make it better. We will retain the core of what Hotfix is, but expand it. Add new elements in. Make it more freeform. Make it more flowing. Make it so that we can have those discussions that currently we have to kind of shy away from because they don't fit into what Hotfix is. I mean, the solution to that? Rework Hotfix, which is exactly what we're doing. So, I can't tell you exactly when the first episode of the reworked Hotfix is going to be. It's still going to be called Hotfix. It's still going to be a laser-focused video game discussion podcast. But in a way, it's going to be even more of that than it was before. Because before, it was about news about video games. Now it's going to be about everything to do with video games. It's going to be news about video games, personal experiences about video games, and stories relating to what we've done in video games. It sounds pretty damn good to me. I'm really excited about this, and I really hope that you're looking forward to seeing it. And, well, you'll know when it goes live, because I will make a massive fuss. So keep your eyes peeled. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the new Hotfix when it arrives.